Good morning. It is a beautiful, calm, quiet morning here in Cape Town. Sun came up just after 5 today. So, today in the How to Be a Respectful Employer series, we are going to talk about names. As I said in the, what did I call it? The explanatory interlude that you've watched before this, right? There's very little that's original in most of these videos. And so this video in particular takes inspiration from King Ya's video about respecting people's names. And I've put the link below. Please go and watch that. It also was prompted, extra special prompted, by me suddenly getting appendicitis on Thursday and realizing on Friday what was going on and having an emergency appendectomy, and so suddenly finding myself in hospital. And there's a lot that I love about hospitals in South Africa, actually. Not least, we have some of the most amazing nurses in the world, in my opinion. But there's one thing I really don't like, and that's being called Mrs. Ugh. And I don't mean that as any offense to anybody who calls themselves Mrs. That's great. If it makes you happy, that's great. It makes me really unhappy. And as soon as I was checking in, I was feeling like I had appendicitis, and the person at the check-in desk said, "Welcome, Mrs. Richby." And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have like 48 hours of being called Mrs. Richby. This is just ugh. So that prompted me to talk today about being respectful to our employees' names. And there's a few points that I'm going to go through. Okay. So, this being the joyous country and city it is, despite living alongside each other, we often as South Africans, I'm a new South African, but often as South Africans we don't know how to say each other's names. And it's such a sad state of affairs. It shows you so much about our society that we can't even say each other's names. And so in a workplace that can become a problem, because saying someone's name right is one of the most basically respectful things you can do. And obviously, as a, British person who first lived here when I was 18, I took a while to learn how to say people's names. But I never got defensive about it because I was British and I was new and I just learned. And so that's my first tip. If someone's name is difficult to pronounce, you do not give them a nickname. You do not give someone an alternative name. You do not ask someone if they've got an English name that you can use instead. You write it down, make a voice note of how it sounds, and you can be very deliberate about that. If you say to somebody, "I'm going to struggle to say your name, could I record it so that I can practice?" I don't think many people are going to be upset about that, given the alternative is you not being able to say it. Practice it. It's that simple. Listen, repeat, practice. And but you don't get prizes for getting it right. I often notice that when people do get people's names right, particularly when white South Africans get names right in isiXhosa or isiZulu or Sesotho, whatever language they're attempting to get right, they look like they deserve some kind of prize when they've got it. You don't get a prize, sorry. So, don't panic, don't get defensive, practice. That's it. If somebody has two names, like lots of us do, not first name and surname, but often somebody will have a name in Xhosa or Swahili and one in English or French, whatever it is. Quite often people have, in South Africa, two names. Ask someone's preference. Right, so what would you prefer I called you? And that's really what I wish they had on all the hospital admission forms, is just a little line that says, what would you like to be called? And in the good health practices they do that. What would you like me to call you? It's an important way of showing someone that I see you and I want you to be comfortable. Okay. Please don't ask what's your real name. No one's trying to be deceptive by asking you to call them an English name instead of a name in their home language or another language. It's not deceptive, it's someone's choice. What someone chooses to be called is their choice. If you want to have a very subtle conversation about, do you like being called that or are you just being nice to me? That conversation is one that can be had over time. But please never ask what someone's real name is. It's rude. Navigating this proto-colonial, deeply divided city with all the meaning that we attach to language is hard, and everybody has their way of doing it. Respect it. If somebody changes their preference, respect it. That's really important. Some people change their first name when they get married. Some people decide that they've had enough of having their name mispronounced. Some people decide they've had enough of being called an English name. Some people just, for whatever reason, their reason, nothing to do with us, none of our business, people decide to change their names too. And you're going to mess that up because, you know, human memory. So just when you do, correct yourself and apologize, and over time you'll get it. But get it. Yeah, so that's my little rant for today, quite frankly. And I've gotten this wrong. And in particular, there is one staff member whose spelling of her name I'm always getting wrong. And so my commitment today is that I am going to clarify that and then fix it and move on. And if this is a conversation you feel like you need to have with some of your team, do it slowly, do it carefully. If you find you're getting defensive or upset, then own that and sit with it. That's okay. Just don't get defensive. And yeah, call people by the name that they want to be called. Okay, I'm going to resume my regime of painkillers and lying down. Bye.